Welcome to episode 3 of Limerick and Proud Live. I am your host, Amanda Flannery, and this evening we have someone very, very special joining us. And this week's guest is known all over the world as the Limerick Lion. He's Ireland's strongest man 5 times, UK's strongest man in 2018, and a competitor in World's Strongest Man. It's the Limerick Lion, Pa O'Dwyer. So Pa is going to be joining us very, very shortly. Just waiting for him to send his request. Here we go. Just wait for that to come through now. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, make sure to pop them in the box. Hi, Pa. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
We're good. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
No, what at all.
We had a few technical difficulties there at the beginning, but we're sorted now. That's just the way live goes, doesn't it? There's always something.
I know, yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Well, welcome to Limerick and Proud. Thank you so much for being our special guest this week.
No, whatever. It's good to be here. It's nice to be asked to do it.
Not at all. So we'll get started. We'll start at the beginning, Pa, and we'll ask you where in Limerick you grew up and what it was like.
Yeah, so I grew up outside Newcastle West in a place called Ruska. Not many people know it, but if you're in Newcastle West and you look over to, what would it be, in the south, towards the south, and the big majestic mountains, you'll see there, that's where I'm from.
Fantastic. And what was it like growing up out there?
It was good. I suppose it probably primed me for strongman because I grew up on a farm. So a lot of the times I was up early and kind of pulling and dragging on the farm all the time. You know, there's always something to be done and the work was always very physical, you know. And I suppose that's what strongman really is just a professional farmer pulling and dragging.
Tell us about school then and your time as a young adult in Limerick. What was it like?
School really wasn't my thing. I went to school in I went to primary school in Arda and I went to secondary school in Abbeyfield, and school just wasn't meant for me. All I ever learned to do in school was smoke fags.
And then you when you were a young adult, you got into lifting weights, and tell us about your journey to becoming a strong man.
So I was working on the roads a lot. I was in and out of building sites and stuff like that. And a lot of time that job can come with like a lot of guys would go drinking every weekend. So I suppose by the time I was just around 20, 21 years of age, and at that stage I was nearly drinking probably 7 nights a week. I was kept busy drinking a lot of time. Obviously I was working during the week as well. I was working 6-7 days a week as well. And a lot of time is away in Dublin and stuff like that, so there was not really else to do in the evenings, only drink. So at the time when I was around 20, just I turned 21 years of age, my girlfriend got pregnant. So that was my 21st birthday gift, was to find out that I was going to be a father. So I knew I had to straighten myself at that stage, and I met a guy actually in the pub of all places, and I knew that he was in and out of the gym a lot. So I said to him, I was thinking about joining the gym, and he says, there's no point talking about it here. Come up to the gym Monday evening at 7 o'clock, and we'll see how we go from there if you show up. So I said, grand. So that following Monday evening at 7 o'clock, I turned up to the gym, and that at this stage is nearly 14, 15 years ago, and I've never gone more than 2 or 3 days without training since then.
Unreal. So just a complete life turnaround.
Yeah, a lot of people will just say I've kind of switched one addiction for another, but obviously this lifestyle is a bit more healthier. Yeah,
and you do personal training on the side then as well as another job. Tell us about that. Do you enjoy doing that? And
yeah, I do. Yeah, that's my job at the minute is a personal trainer. I'm an online coach as well, so I coach a lot of athletes as well. That's our kind of, it's mainly strong men and strong women I coach online. And a lot of my PTs are just general public trying to lose weight and get fit. So I don't actually physically personal train any strongman or powerlifter or anything like that, even though that would be my field. But it's mainly getting people healthy, making them fit, and trying to help them lose weight is my personal training really. But yeah, I love it. It's great because I've worked. I was in the fire brigade for years, and I've been working with different companies down through years, and trying to fit in strongman and competing around when you're working for someone else is very hard. So when I work for myself doing the PT, it's easy. If I need to, like this week, I'm flying over to Leeds Friday morning. If that was with any other, if I was working for someone, I'd be booking holidays for the Friday. I'd probably be booking holidays as well for the Monday. So it's really good that I can I can adjust my own work around strongman basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And while you're on the topic of strongman, when did you decide to start competing in that, in them competitions, and what was it like to do that, like in Limerick? I presume you were the only one in Limerick doing it. What was it like to
It was good.
start to decide, okay, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, well, after a short time when I was in the gym, when I first joined the gym, I was around 10 or 11 stone at the time, because like obviously I was following no nutrition, and I spent a lot of time drinking. So I spent a lot of that time not doing what I'm doing now basically. So I was where was I? I was what was I doing? I can't remember what I was doing at the time, but yeah. So it was a complete change around, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose from a Limerick perspective, you obviously influence people to get fit and lift weights and kind of do that for themselves, as you said, as a lifestyle and to make themselves feel better. But who would you say, if you had to pick some Limerick influences that like helped you on your way or helped you to become who you are today, who would you say they would be?
I don't like, for what I'm doing is very there's a lot of guys around Ireland really that are kind of at the level I'm at anyway, you know. So the people I looked up to in my sport would be guys like probably a lot of your listeners might know them, but it'd be there's a guy called Big Z who is Sidrūnas Savickas, so he's a Lithuanian strongman, and he spent, which is kind of unheard of in any other sport, he spent 20 years at the top of his sport. So he was number one, or no, he was often placed second, or it was nearly always he came first in international competitions over 20-year span. He's 4 times world's strongest man. He's won the Arnold Classic, which is held over in America. He's won that 8 times. No one has ever matched his records for that. So that's someone that I would have looked up to. And there's always people coming up along the ranks that I look up to as well. Like a friend of mine who's actually, he's only 27 years of age, and only this year he won World's Strongest Man. And he's autistic too, so he's obviously that side to deal with, and he's still managed to be the number 1 guy in the world. So he's another guy I would look up to, Tom Stoltman.
Absolutely fantastic. I suppose you said you had to change, you know, you were drinking so much, and then you went from that to lifting weights and eating healthier and, you know, building muscle and becoming a strong man. I'm just wondering, like, what would you have to eat in a day to do that? What would your diet be like on a day-to-day basis?
As I say, like when I was first starting out, I was around 11 stone, so I started educating myself on diet and training immediately, because obviously I fell in love with it's not so much strongman at the time. It was kind of just going to the gym and getting stronger and getting fitter and trying to become more healthy. So I educated myself as I was coming along, and I was probably training about I was training in the gym maybe 4 years, so I was around 25 or 26 when I did my first strongman competition, and it was on below in Cork. And I think at the time I only did it for the crack. I got like 2 weeks notice for this competition. It's just something I just saw on Facebook. And I said I'd do it for the crack, and we landed down, and there was like 24 or 5 guys competing that day, and they're all way bigger than me. Now at the time I still wasn't that big. I was only, at that stage, I'd probably gone up to 16 or 17 stone. So these guys are way bigger than me. They're taller than me and everything. And long story short, I came away with 3rd place on that day. So it was kind of from then on, I said I'd kind of stick to it a bit more, and that's where my focus then started. was just mainly trying to be a better strongman, which is a hard thing to do because it's not as if all we do is lift heavy weights, but a lot of time we'd have to do running, but there's a lot of running in our competition as well. So we'd have to pick up something heavy. Now they are heavy. For argument's sake, this weekend I'm competing in Europe's Strongest Man, and one of the events is you jump inside, and it's a small car. It's like a Fiat, and you pick the Fiat up. There's there's handles obviously put into the car, so you pick the Fiat up. Your feet are down to the floor, and you actually pick up the whole car, and you bring it for 25 meters. So that's a speed event, so you have to work on your speed. So it's a lot of being strongman is being really strong, being fit. Sometimes these competitions, like UK Strongest Man, is a 3-day competition. So you have to obviously it's not just being strong, it's being fit and having a lot of endurance as well to go for 3-day competitions, you know. So being a strongman is a tough, tough sport. I suppose, and the hardest thing about it, like I enjoy the training, I enjoy competing. Like there's 15,000 people sitting down to this competition, Europe's Strongest Man, the weekend, and it'll be shown to millions worldwide. And I just love that side of it. I love the entertain. I love kind of shouting and roaring and the messing, and that's probably why I get invited to these competitions more than anything else, is because I be an entertainer as such. So it's the diet really is the hard thing. It's getting the calories in constantly. And if you're not, especially with me, because I find it really hard to put on weight. So if I miss a single meal during the day, I could end up losing 2 or 3 pounds just by missing one meal. So it's a nightmare for me trying to put up the weight, because at the minute I'm just under 23 stone. And a lot of the guys I'm competing with, the average weight would be 26 stone. And then you've got bigger guys again, the big guys of strongmen, who are the likes of a lot of the viewers will have seen Game of Thrones, Thor Bjornsson, who's close to 7 foot and 31, 32 stone. So like I'm at a disadvantage when I'm not that big. So obviously I have to work harder on my diet, and I have to train harder to lift the heavier weights. So it's tough. The diet is really tough, trying to get all those calories in. And typically coming up to competition, I can eat maybe up to this week I'm up on 10,000 calories a day.
Crazy. Oh, like what do you eat in a day to get to 10,000, Pat? Like, would you have to be eating every hour, like a big meal on the hour?
No, it starts off around 7 o'clock in the morning is my first meal. I have 5 meals. I have 6 meals. 4 of the meals are in around 2,000 calories, and my 2 smaller meals then are like they're shakes, so they consist of just protein and stuff like that. But for my first meal of the day is 12 large eggs. I have 7 Weetabix, and I have a bowl of fruit. So in that I've pancakes as well at the minute. I have pancakes with chocolate. So my first meal is actually close to 2,500 calories. Each meal after that, I just had a meal there. It was 300 grams of steak, half kilo of potatoes, veg, and 2 bagels. So that's the meal I just had there. It's torture. It's torture, yeah. It's absolutely torture, because it's really hard to put 2,000 calories down your throat when you're not hungry. And probably the hardest meal of the day is my last one before bed, which is, again, it'll be just a lot of meat, a lot of carbohydrates again. And a lot of time I'm empty reaching, like packing this food into my mouth. It's horrible. I couldn't describe to you how hard it is to get the food in and trying to make myself big.
Yeah. There's some wows and stuff coming in there in the comments. I think people are shocked. Pancakes and chocolate and fruit doesn't sound too bad to me now, Pat. I don't know what I'd be able with a half kilo of spuds now. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's right, 2 or 3.
I know, like a lot of people say, geez, I'd love to be able to eat, like, because obviously I coach a lot of people who are trying to lose weight, and they're like, oh, I'd love your diet. But before I started strongman, I used to do a bit of bodybuilding, and I've went through the phase of I went one time 5 or 6 weeks without having a single carbohydrate, so it was all fats and proteins, and I starved myself on that diet. And I can tell you there's nothing harder than eating food when you're not hungry. It's just horrible. like I'm waking up each morning, I'm not hungry because I'm still full from the night before, the meal the night before. And like next time you're full, try and eat 4 large pancakes with Nutella in them.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Down in the water, trying to like get it to go down your throat.
Exactly, literally, yeah. Yeah, it's horrible, yeah.
So, could you tell us where did you get the nickname, the Limerick Lion? Where did that come
Um,
out?
that just kind of came, oh, obviously I'm from Limerick, and before each event I do this thing, like it's just kind of, it's like a mental thing I do. It's like it charges me up to get ready for what I'm about to do, and I will, as the commentator will call my name, it's like maybe 5 seconds after that I'm going to do something like flip a car or deadlift 400 kilos or squat some ridiculous weights. And right before my name, or right after my name is called, I'll roar as loud as I can. And at this stage, it's just a really loud roar. So, and now I got the lion's mane going on. And it's the Limerick, and I let off the roar and the beard and everything else. So they call me the Limerick Lion now.
Well, it's a good nickname, Pa. It's a good nickname.
Yeah. I
So,
could be worse things like a Cork Lion or a Dublin Lion.
absolutely. No, we want to be Limerick now, especially after that All Ireland at Cork. So we'll stay on the Limerick side. So you represent Limerick and Ireland on these international stages.
Yeah.
So obviously you're meeting people who aren't from Limerick or aren't, from Ireland. And maybe if the people from Ireland don't know Limerick, their perception of Limerick might be a dated one. So like, what would, like, when you tell people you're from Limerick, what are you met with? Are you met with that kind of old-fashioned perspective or perception of Limerick, or are you met with, oh yeah, that's a great place to go, or like, do you think your people's perception of Limerick has changed over the years?
I think people's perception of Limerick has changed a lot over the years. Like even people I've met around Ireland, when I say I'm from Limerick, years ago, they'd obviously straight away did call it Stab City, to my face, and say, oh, that's Stab City. But now, as I'm meeting people around the country, because especially in the north, I suppose I'd be more well known up in the north because a lot of time the competitions are held up there, and even when people are coming up looking for photos or anything like that, and I'd tell them where I'm from Limerick, and they'd never put the two together. When I'm going abroad, no one has ever really said it to me. They've never really looked it up, or they wouldn't ever come across the name Stab City or anything like that. And probably I was actually the one guy that actually did know Limerick. He was here once, was the Mountain from Game of Thrones, and he said it was actually a lovely place because he came through it once and he stayed here before. So yeah, the general consensus of Limerick isn't that bad anymore.
Yeah, I suppose it came kind of back up. It raised its ugly head again this year when that awful article from those people came out, and I
Oh,
suppose,
from Forbes, yeah, I remember, yeah.
yeah, for people, I think Limerick people's reaction to that was what I thought was fantastic. Like, we just weren't having it, we
Yeah.
just weren't having it. How did you feel? Did that make you feel angry or annoyed when you seen that old-fashioned kind of perception of what Limerick is kind of raising its ugly head again?
Yeah, exactly. Like, but see, that's some Americans, like some Americans actually believe in leprechauns. I used to adore once, and there was a couple of Americans in there, and these guys were in their late 40s, the early 50s, and they were like, what do you work at during the day, and where would you get to meet some leprechauns? And he was being serious. He thought there was actually leprechauns there. And I said, well, I hate admitting, like, but I'm actually a leprechaun hunter. And I kept along with the guy, and he bought every word of it. He thought there was such thing as leprechauns and such thing as leprechaun hunters. So that's like the general thing from Americans. They think all the Irish do is fight and drink and hunt leprechauns.
Oh yeah, sure. We're the drunken Irish, apparently.
Yeah.
Right, Pat O'Dwyer. So if you had a day off of eating what you have to eat, you had a day off the gym and strongman, and you had a day off personal training, what would be your ideal day out in Limerick from start to finish? What would you do?
My ideal day would be waking up at whatever time I wanted, just having a cup of tea and a slice of toast. And I'd probably still end up in the gym because I actually genuinely do like working out. I also go to the Strand Hotel in Limerick. They've got they've got a jacuzzi, steam room, sauna, and one of the things I absolutely love, and I recommend it to anyone that's into their fitness or their recovery and like that. I use it 4 times a week to try and recover my body, because obviously all the heavy things that I lift during the week. Is they have a plunge pool, and a plunge pool is extremely cold, and I love the cold, especially when you're my size. I just love the cold. So the recovery suite inside the Strand Hotel is amazing. So that's something else I'd probably end up doing. And after that, I'd probably go for a few pints of Guinness somewhere.
Sounds ideal. Sounds ideal. So, if there's someone young from Limerick looking at you now saying, "Oh, you know what? I'd love to try that. I'd love to start and give a shot at it. Maybe 1 year being the next Limerick Lion." What advice would you give to that person?
The advice I'd give is it's a long, long road. Even for the guys that are naturally talented at strongman, and I've seen guys who are naturally talented. Last year we had a world's strongest man, and he was 24 years of age. So some people just have it in them. Unless you're extremely gifted like him, it's a long road. This is my 15th year of training, and even now I'm still learning how to deadlift properly. I'm still learning how to press logs and stuff over my head. I'm still educating myself, so be prepared to have a long road of hardship and injuries. And probably one thing that's like kept... sorry?
Another strongman is after saying there, take up chess instead. Sean Logan.
Sean, yeah. Chess would be a lot easier anyway, yeah.
So we put up a story yesterday, and we asked people to send in some questions they might like you to answer. So we've picked a handful of them. So we're going to do the Q&A, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
The first question we had in was, can you eat what you want and train, or is it down to diet?
No, I work with a nutritionist, so it's whatever he sends me. He asks me how I feel after the meals to make sure I'm digesting them properly. And he asked me how training goes. So it's basically down to him. That's what it's actually Ellis Vine is a guy in England that does my diet and my nutrition for me. So it's whatever he tells me to eat, I can eat. And if that's a bowl of stones, I have to eat a bowl of stones.
Okay, second question is, what weight can you squat?
Squat isn't actually one of the biggest events that comes into strongman, so I never really max out, but I've squatted 380 kilos before.
Wow. Would you rather a world record dead or log?
I suppose log press, because a log press is the one record that's still holding at the minute. It seems to be unachievable to break this world record that stands at the minute. The world log record stands at 228 kilos. And for anyone that doesn't know what a log press record is, it's basically the big round logs. It's about 12 inches in diameter. It's circular. You put your hands in it, you roll it up into your chest, and you press it up overhead. And the world record in that is 228 kilos, which is close to a quarter of a ton pressing over your head. So I'd really like to be taking the log press record, but I don't think it's something that I'd ever be able to achieve, because anyone that has broken the world record in log has been close to 200 kilo body weight, which would be 30 stone, and you just need that body weight to press something that heavy overhead.
Yeah.
But yeah, the log press.
The log instead of the deadlift. What sort of things do you, as strongman, struggle with that the average Joe doesn't?
Everything. I have, he's, what age is he? He's 16 months at the minute, Freddie at home. So following him around the place is one of the hardest. It's probably harder than any leg session that I do. Putting shoes on, putting socks on. I've broken a toilet. I broke the toilet 6 weeks ago. So any of these number of things is harder. And plus, when you're as strong as I am, if anyone's ever moving furniture, you're always the first person they call. So there's no benefits really to being this big and strong.
Well, Pat, are you free next week? I'm moving house.
Yeah.
And the last question from the Q&A is, did you think that people like Eddie Hall have brought more awareness and popularity to the sport?
Absolutely. I think two guys in particular, Eddie Hall, and Thor Bjornsson, have brought massively into strongman, because Thor, obviously from Game of Thrones, and Eddie Hall, who has a documentary on Netflix that you should watch it sometime if anyone hasn't seen it. It's really good. And they've highlighted the sport a lot, which like has done us favours in as well, because it's bringing more money into the sport. So it's allowing the professional guys to be more professional and not having day jobs. I'm still not at the level where I can just focus fully on strongman. Until someone sponsors me, I'll still be working a day job. But
Hello,
yeah,
anyone like to sponsor Power Wire that's on here?
yeah, your name could be right here across my chest.
Absolutely. And so just finish off. So I'm going to ask you, what's next? What's next for you? I know you're off to Leeds this weekend.
My goals were all
my
my goals. Yeah, the goals I've had all along were, I wanted to break the record and win in Ireland's Strongest Man. I wanted to win it 5 times. So I've gone and achieved that goal. Another goal of mine was to place top 10 at World's Strongest Man. An Irishman has never made it to the top 10 in World's Strongest Man. That's also another goal I'm going to break. And after that, I don't know, I might get into some acting. I enjoy acting. I've done small bits and pieces before, so that'll be probably next is films. The next rock, the Irish rock.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Exactly.
Well, Pat, thank you so much for joining us for the chats this evening. It was lovely to see you, and thanks a million. For anyone who missed this or dropped in late, I'll be posting this on IGTV, and it'll be going up as a podcast on Spotify and Apple and all those podcast streams later on, probably be next week. And Pat, when we go back into the office and things are back to normal, make sure and call in and see us.
I will, of course. Thanks a million.
Pat. Bye.
Thanks. I'll see you later. Bye bye.